Maytag Maxima Front Load washer doesn't start, locks the door and does not shows error codes.
Can you guesstimate how old your Maytag is? And just to clarify, what's the exact model?
MHW 7000XW2.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
Yes.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
I changed the CCU without much effect.
Hello, and welcome to Just Answer. My name is I will be the one to assist you. Sorry to hear that you are having this trouble. So it does not start filling with water after locking? Also, does the door stay locked?
I don't want to call. Can you give support by text?
Sorry if the site is offering the automatic phone call, it's not for me, please disregard the offer. Do you happen to have a MUT limiter?
I do, but I am not in front of the machine right now.
Okay, when you are in front of the machine, message me on here. I think what may have happened here is your water inlet valve may have went bad, which means the water is not being told to come into the unit. We can test this part and verify for sure.
Okay. I'll get back to you in about 15 minutes.
Sounds good. If I do not reply immediately, do not be alarmed, I will get back with you. This is what the part looks like and will need tested for continuity. Also, you will find its location by following the water hoses going onto the washer. They are plugged into this part, and of course make sure to turn the water off before doing this. https://www.appliancepartspros.com/whirlpool valve inlet WPW1024730 app 6017716.html.
Back online. In front of the washer.
Okay, so do you see the information I sent above?
I've seen the parts for sale. They are in front of me. The top of the washer is removed.
Okay, good, so you will need to test the part for continuity.
How?
https://u2.b/6611bis4.
The valves do not have connectivity issue. There is no issue with water. Are you still there?
Sorry for the delay, so they test for continuity? I thought you said water is not entering the unit.
The valves seem okay and there is water coming in. But when I switch on the washer, there is no water coming into it. If I power the washer and launch a program, nothing happens beside the door remains locked. That's why I changed the CCU, as I saw on the internet that could have been an issue. Initially I had error code about communication, but when I replaced the CCU and ran a diagnostic test, there wasn't any error code.
See, the water coming to the unit makes sense, but the control board tells the water valve to open up to allow water to come in and when to shut it off. The only things that would cause water not to come into the washer is a failed control board, which you replaced already. If the door was not locking, then a failed door lock. Then last but not least, the water inlet valve not opening when it's supposed to, in order to allow water to come inside.
That's odd to have both the door lock and the water valve failing at the same time. Would a failing door switch make that? Sorry if I am not clear. The door locks and remain locked.
No, that's not what I am saying. I was stating what parts would cause this to happen. It will not start or water enter inside of the tub, if the control board, the door lock or the water valve failed. The control board is new, so that rules that out. The door is locking and unlocking, so that rules that out. So that only leaves the water inlet valve being the problem.
The door is not unlocking.
So the door is locked but will not unlock? So how are you getting the door opened?
I have to use the manual opening to do that.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. And then when you go to start it again, it locks but won't release? So if it not releasing, then that indicates a failed door latch assembly, and it will actually be the part that needs replaced. I apologize about the misinformation in the beginning. However, the fact it was locking, I still would have suggested you test the valve. The fact it's not unlocking tells me it's the problem. https://www.appliancepartspros.com/whirlpool latch door lock WP818327 app 6011883.html.
Okay, thanks. Is there a test to be sure? Because I have seen online that it could be a failed harness too.
You can test it for continuity. The harness, that is, the lock, sadly you cannot. However, the harness would not cause this.
No chance that the MCU could cause that.
It's not that it's not a chance. If it's not communicating with the control, it could cause an issue, but typically there is an error when that occurs. However, the lock not unlocking would not be caused by the MCU.
Sorry to keep asking questions, but I want to make sure there is no doubt, or I might get a new washer if too costly to fix it. A faulty lock assembly would prevent the washing cycle to start. And I would not get an error code.
Most of the time you would get an error with the faulty lock as well, but I think the fact it's locking is why it's not giving a code. Have you tried putting it into diagnostics?
Initially I had F6E2, I checked the drain. It was clean. The pump seemed to rotate. The whole drum seems to rotate okay too. Because of that, I replaced the CCU. After I replaced it, I ran a diagnostic test and it came up 888. There is no laundry stuck somewhere, no clogged drain, new CCU, no more error codes, continuity okay at the water valves, water pressure is fine at the outlet, only the door remaining locked, no cycle starting.
Since this part cannot be tested and it's the only thing that is making sense at this point, I would order the lock from Repair Clinic. They are the only company that will allow you to install that part, and in the event it does not solve your issue, allow you to return it and get a full refund. https://www.repairclinic.com/part details/door lock WP8,183,271,419,926. I do honestly believe the problem is with the door lock. It makes the most sense but cannot be guaranteed. So if this was my unit, or my job, I would order the part from Repair Clinic so you're not losing money if it doesn't solve the issue, and you can know after that the MCU has to be to blame, although again would not cause the door not to unlock. Wait, the error you got was F6E2.
If I get it right, the faulty lock does not send the signal that the door is in fact closed, and that's why the cycle doesn't start.
Just a moment, the error you got was F6E2, correct? You never said that before. That has nothing to do with draining, that is the user interface not communicating with the CCU. However, you replaced the CCU, not the user interface control board, correct? Is this what you replaced? https://www.appliancepartspros.com/whirlpool control elect W10427967 app 5653804.html.
Correct.
I am so glad you mentioned that before leaving today. So actually that changes things. So sadly your problem is the user interface. When this code happens, it's the CCU or user interface having failed and needing replaced. Since the CCU is new, that leaves the user interface being the problem. I can only find it available at Sears though. https://www.searspartsdirect.com/part number /W104555729/0026/110.html. Model number equals MHW7000XW2 and category name equals residential %20 washers and brand name equals Maytag.
Why is the code not showing up?
The error you were getting this right here verifies the problem is the user interface control board. F6E2 communication error UI to CCU. F6E3 communication error CCU to UI. Communication between central control unit, CCU, and user interface, UI, has not been detected. Possible causes: verify continuity and cable between CCU, UI7, and UI, C2. See wiring diagram on page 22. Check AC and DC supplies. See test number 1, CCU power check, on page 13. My goal is to give you the best experience possible. If you need more assistance, please use the reply box and let me know. Rating does not stop you from getting back to me in the event you need me. It has been a pleasure assisting you today.
Thanks. I'll try to replace the interface. I hope it is the fix.
This most certainly has to be the fix, especially given the error you were getting. Had I known about it from the beginning, I would not have suggested the other things and would have saved you some time and stress. However, I do hope you're willing to rate with 5 stars at the top of your screen.
No worries. I just wonder why I don't get the error code anymore. I just ran another diagnostic test and getting 888.
That's just part of diagnostics. If the service diagnostic mode has been entered successfully, all indicators on the console are illuminated for 5 seconds with 888 or 88 showing in the estimated cycle time. Maytag, 7-segment display.
But the error code doesn't show up anymore.
It's not an error code. It's part of the diagnostics. I can assure you the error you were getting was for the user interface and queue. Since the CCU is new, the user interface, which is what the error was telling you, needs replaced. The CCU may have been good in the first place, but the new CCU will not have the error stored because it's new, and since the unit will not start, it's not advancing far enough to pull the user interface as the error.
Okay. I'll try to replace it. Thanks again.
You are very welcome. Please do not forget to rate at the top with 5 stars before you leave tonight. It has been my pleasure assisting you, and rating does not stop you from getting back to me in the event you need me.
I have replaced the part indicated, and it doesn't solve the fault.
Is the error still the same?
As I mentioned, the error message doesn't show since I replaced the CCU.
Is 888 still showing?
I've just run the test. It shows 888.
The only thing left at this point is the MCU, which honestly does not make sense seeing as the error was for the queue or the user interface. Have you tried putting the old CCU on to see if the error comes back or not?
I will try to swap the CCU again.
I will be around for you to let me know.
I swapped the CCU, and as soon as I launch the system test, the display shows immediately FO6E01.
FO6E01?
Before replacing it I had FO6E02. But now it is FO6E01.
Keep the old Q in. Do you have a service door at the bottom in the front?
No. But I modified the front to have easy access to the drain. I had checked it at first and there is nothing in it.
There have been many times that the area being open has caused this error. What I am worrying about with this error FO6E01 sometimes is the MCU board, other times a drain hose is a problem or the service area.
Drain hose. Is that the one going up from the pump? I checked it. Nothing in the hose.
The one that goes out of the washer, so behind the washer going into the wall.
Nothing clogging it.
Please read very carefully. So then at this point, the unit is saying motor control board now. The F6E2 error was for the user interface, or CCU. Since the CCU was new, the only option was the UI, but the fact the old CCU is now pulling up the MCU and the new CCU pulls up nothing yet it's still not working makes me wonder if the problem is actually with the CCU, the new one being a dud on its own. It makes no sense for the old one to be pull up errors, but not the new one, unless the old CCU was giving false errors. I hope this makes sense. I know it's a lot of back and forth. If I was doing this myself, I would contact Sears about the CCU and tell them that something is wrong with it, starting there, because your old control board was pulling up errors, the new one pulls up nothing but still does not work. If the new CCU does not solve the issue, the only thing left is the MCU. I know this has become a horribly expensive job, and the fact these boards cannot be tested, it's based off of errors, ruling out process or visible damage. There was no visible damage, and when you came to me, once you said the error, it was most certainly an error for the CCU or UI. Given the CCU being new, that left the UI. The fact it's still not working and the old CCU pulls up a new error for the CCU or MCU makes this job that much tougher. I just don't want you to spend any more money until we verify that the new CCU that has been replaced is not the actual issue.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.